Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from Ukraine to share with you. So, we're going to be talking more about these North Korean troops that have been reported to be training inside of Russia, maybe even inside of eastern Ukraine, getting ready to join the front lines. And we've been hearing upwards of 10,000 or more from Volodymyr Zelensky have been reported to be training inside of Russia, getting ready to fight against the Ukrainians on the Eastern Front. So, just some huge developments happening lately with North Korea. And I want to update you some more, as just today we heard that South Korea's spy agency just stated today that North Korea has shipped 1,500 Special Forces troops to Russia's Far East regions for training right now and eventually are going to be deployed to Eastern Ukraine. Okay, so 1,500 Special Forces that have been deployed. And also, we're hearing that 12,000 in total of North Koreans are currently training with Russia right now and preparing to fight against the Ukrainians. Okay, so this is very big news. We're even hearing that they are being given Russian uniforms, and some of them as well are being given fake identification cards and being classified or formalized as Russian citizens in some of the eastern regions of Russia. Okay, so this is very, very big news, and this is more indication here that the North Koreans are more heavily involved in this war against Ukraine. So we're going to have an article to go over on mainstream news to go over first. We will discuss that, and then we'll jump over to X. I even have some video footage coming out on X today showing what appears to be North Korean troops at some of the training grounds inside of Russia, and some of them even being given Russian military uniforms and being prepared and to be deployed to eastern Ukraine to fight against the Ukrainians. Okay, so let's hop on over here to mainstream news just for a moment. Reuters reports North Korean troops in Russia readying for combat in Ukraine war, South Korea says. Okay, this is coming out today, October 18th, 2024. And it says right here, North Korea shipped 1,500 Special Forces troops to Russia's Far East for training and acclimatizing at local military bases and will likely be deployed for combat in the war in Ukraine, South Korea's spy agency said on Friday. South Korea's National Intelligence Service, the NIS, also said it had been working with Ukrainian intelligence service and had been used facial recognition artificial intelligence technology, to identify North Korean officers in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region supporting Russian forces firing North Korean missiles. Okay, so we already know that North Koreans are in eastern Ukraine firing the KN-23 ballistic missile launchers. We've heard about that already, claiming that these were North Korean engineers, which are obviously soldiers. And we'll have to see how South Korea is going to respond to this now, too, considering that they have this information claiming that North Korean troops are now going to be deployed inside of Ukraine. So it says here in more than 13,000 containers, North Korea has shipped artillery rounds, ballistic missiles, and anti-tank rockets to Russia since August last year, the agency said, based on the remnants of the weapons recovered from the battlefront in Ukraine. In all, more than 8 million artillery and rocket rounds have been shipped to Russia, it said. The direct military cooperation between Russia and North Korea that has been reported by foreign media has now been officially confirmed, the spy agency said in a statement. Earlier, South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol called an unscheduled security meeting with key intelligence, military, and national security officials to discuss North Korean troops' involvement in Russia's war against Ukraine, Yoon's office said. The participants shared the view that the current situation where Russia and North Korea's closer ties have gone beyond the movement of military supplies to actual dispatch of troops is a grave security threat. Look at that. Not only to our country, but to the international community. So it makes you wonder, how is South Korea going to respond to this? Are they going to start sending heavy weaponry over to the Ukrainians to use against these North Korean troops in eastern Ukraine? And also against Russia, which would obviously drag South Korea into the conflict now too. Would they even potentially deploy their own troops to Ukraine? Who knows what's going to happen here, but definitely very interesting. Yoon's office said South Korea, together with its allies, has been closely tracking North Korea's troop dispatch to Russia from the initial stages. South Korea will respond to the North's activities with all available means, it added, without elaborating on what actions it might take. Okay, so they're not coming out and saying how they're going to respond to this, but I'm pretty sure we will see some sort of military response coming from South Korea very soon. Wouldn't be surprised if just as early as next week, we start hearing South Korea sending heavy weaponry over to the Ukrainians to fight against these North Korean troops and also the Russians. And South Korea has definitely been trying to hold back from being involved in this war, but it looks like they may get dragged in and be forced to, at least at the bare minimum, start sending weaponry over to Ukraine to help them out. So now we're going to hop on over to X. I want to show you guys some independent sources with information and some of these video footage that is coming out from Russia, apparently, allegedly showing North Korean troops preparing for battle inside of Ukraine. Okay, so Formosan Defender, according to Yonhap news agency, the National Intelligence Service of South Korea has found that over 12,000 North Korean troops, including special forces, have left the country, forming into 4 combat brigades, with them believed to be training in eastern Russia to soon enter the war in Ukraine. Okay, so upwards of 12,000 troops, okay, 12,000 North Korean troops already, including these special forces that have been deployed, the 1,500, already training with Russia, okay, eastern Russia, and soon going to be joining the front line in eastern Ukraine. Also from Bliskovka, Russia's preparing the DPRK military for war in Ukraine at 4 of its training grounds, Babel writes. These are the training grounds in, hopefully I can pronounce these right, Khabarovsk, Ussurisk, Blagoveshchensk, and Vladivostok. Okay, I believe these are all regions in either eastern or northeastern Russia. Some regions I believe were in central Russia as well, but mostly in Russia's far east is where a lot of these North Korean troops are currently training right now. So moving on to our next update from Max 24. North Korean soldiers will fight under the guise of Buryats and Yakuts. Okay, these are both regions inside of eastern Russia. According to Yonhap news agency, Kim Jong-un's soldiers were given Russian military uniforms and weapons, as well as fake documents of residents of Yakutia and Buryatia. Hopefully I'm saying those right. Sorry if I'm butchering those names, guys. But yeah, according to this information too, we're hearing that fake documents are being given to these soldiers to formalize them as residents of Russia, basically, okay, to kind of make it seem as if these troops are not North Korean, they're actually Russian troops fighting, but obviously these troops are coming from North Korea is what is being reported, okay? So now we're going to move on to the informant. Ukrainian intelligence services claim that videos showing North Korean soldiers were filmed in Sergivka in Russia's Primorsky territory, okay? This is very close to the North Korean border, not too far away in Russia's far east territories, okay? Ukrainian authorities warn that Russia's plans to formalize these soldiers as ethnic Buryat Russians. President Zelensky in Brussels mentioned the possibility of 10,000 North Korean soldiers involved in the war. South Korean intelligence indicates that up to 12,000 North Korean troops, including special forces, could be sent to the conflict in Ukraine. Russia has not officially confirmed the presence of these North Korean soldiers on its territory, but spokesman Peskov highlighted the extensive cooperation between Russia and the DPRK, including on security. So we've got a video here that's approximately almost 1 minute long, is what allegedly could be North Korean troops at some of the training grounds inside of Russia. And then these are kind of maps to show. Some people were able to identify some of the buildings inside this video that show that this is probably at this training ground inside of Russia. So they kind of showed these maps here. So let's take a look at this video. Again, it is going to be very blurry. It's very difficult to see the faces of these soldiers. But many people are claiming on X right now that this could potentially be North Korean troops training inside of Russia. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first.
Это только начало, там еще дальше. Все, нас захватили. Вот они, побежали. Тут. Нельзя их снимать. Сейчас, орда пойдет. Еще. Их миллионы тут. Вот новые подкрепления. Это только начало, там еще дальше.
Okay, so again, I understand this video is very difficult to see the faces of these soldiers, but many are claiming these are potentially North Korean soldiers. I mean, why else would this should be a Russian that's filming this? Why would they be filming these soldiers running over here? Okay, it just wouldn't make any sense if they were Russians, but maybe there's another reason for the recording of this video. But again, many people are claiming on X that this is potentially video footage of North Korean troops over here, okay? And if you listen closely, it might have been kind of hard to tell, but maybe try to rewind the video a little bit. And there's certain parts in here where you can kind of hear the voices of some of these soldiers saying things, and they don't really sound like Russians to me. It sounds like they're speaking something else. And their voices sound a little bit different from your typical Russian accent and some of the voices that I hear from the Russians that are typically speaking. So really hard to tell, but that's what many people are claiming there on X, okay? So this is some satellite imagery that appears to show this some sort of object here. I don't know what that is, these poles here. Someone was able to geolocate this on probably Google Maps or something and locate where this may have been at this training ground. So that's kind of what they're showing here. And then also some of the buildings that may have been identified in the video appears to show that they were at this training grounds running through some of these roads here. And then here's an overlook of this base that allegedly they could have been training at as well, okay? And looks like they could have been in this area right here where it was filmed at. Okay, so now moving on to our next update, we've got another video here from Anton Gerashenko. This is reportedly how North Korean soldiers are outfitted in Russian gear. According to reports, this is Sergeyevsky training ground in Russia's Far East. Soldiers from North Korea are fighting in Europe against a European country. How will Europe react? Okay, so this video, again, unfortunately, is going to be very blurry as well, but there are some parts in here, if you look very closely, these soldiers definitely don't appear to be Russian in any way, but it's really hard to tell again, so just go ahead and take a look and let me know what you think down below. Okay, so there you go. Definitely, again, it is difficult to see what their faces look like if they are actually North Koreans, but if you look closely, it does kind of look like they could potentially be these North Korean troops that are, again, being outfitted in Russian military gear, okay? They're being given these Russian uniforms, and I mean, obviously, we do know, we're hearing lots of information that North Korean troops are preparing to fight with the Russians. So yeah, if you look closely here, it is a little blurry, but we can kind of see that that could be the case here, okay? So moving on to our next update now from Mosin Defender, an Ilyushin 62M passenger jet with the Russian Air Force is returning to Moscow from the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. Okay, this was reported just today, October 18th at 9 a.m., so just about 2 hours ago at the time that I record this, and looks like there was another passenger jet coming from North Korea on over to Moscow, okay, and I believe these jets can hold upwards of 200 passengers. So who knows what is being transported here, but most likely is military personnel could be transferred to Russia. Okay, so we could definitely be hearing in the next few weeks or months that tens of thousands are now showing up all over Russia, and this is absolutely insane, guys. The military cooperation between North Korea and also Russia is definitely growing. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you. This just coming out today. From Anton Gerashenko, Putin, with a smile on his face, says that he is ready to continue the war with Ukraine. Victory will be ours, he said. Exactly what I said before. Russia is certain that it can outplay the West and win the war. Global chaos and collapse will follow. Exactly what Putin wants. Okay, so I wanted to show you this as this, again, just coming out today, being shared on X, was Vladimir Putin basically saying that the Russians will win this war against Ukraine. And he openly admits this here while he's speaking. So go ahead and take a look at this, 14 seconds long.
Когда натовцам надоест с нами воевать, это у них тоже спросите. Мы готовы к продолжению этой борьбы. И победа будет за нами. Когда натовцы...
Okay, so as you can see, he says, when will NATO get tired of fighting us? Ask them. Okay, and then he says, we are ready to continue this fight and victory will be ours. Okay, so Russia is prepared to fight this war for who knows however much longer, right? I mean, obviously, this war could go on forever if NATO wanted to continue fighting and continue sending weaponry over to Ukraine. But yeah, Vladimir Putin coming out today saying that victory will be theirs. They're going to win this war. And then think about the fact that all these North Korean troops are showing up. I mean, this could definitely create some issues for Ukraine on the front line. And hopefully they're going to be able to hold out when these North Korean troops show up. And if they do, and if this front line really does start to crumble, what is NATO going to do next? What is the next move going to be? This is definitely major escalation with the North Korean troops showing up. And many people may not think this is a big deal, but it could take just a few tens of thousands of troops to really collapse the front line. Who knows? Ukraine definitely is struggling on the Eastern Front. We've been continuing to see this for weeks now. That steadily the Russians are advancing in the east, and Ukraine is struggling to hold the Russians back. They are making some gains every now and then, but for the most part, we're seeing them continuously pulling back. Okay, so definitely a major update in regards to North Korea getting heavily involved in this war. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.